Hello, the purpose of this video is just to introduce the report as well as the first few steps, including topic selection. So a report, as you've noticed in your course textbook, is an essay that informs. Essentially, when you have essays, you want to look at purpose. So essays typically have one of two purposes, either to inform or to persuade. So the report is an informative essay, which means that it is not argumentative, it is not biased. Essentially, you are telling about something. So for instance, I could write a report on the history of the common cold, about a specific historical event, about a specific piece of technology. That being said, you are required, as our textbook notes, to use outside sources. And that's probably the biggest focus of this essay, learning what types of outside sources to use, how to effectively give credit to those sources on a works cited page, and how to incorporate them properly within the body of your essay. You will notice this module is just a touch longer than many of your others if you look at the course calendar. So make sure to kind of keep up, ask questions as we go, because the skills that we learn in terms of research on this module are going to be foundational and used throughout the rest of the class. So what you want to do, again, for this essay is choose a topic that you want to inform your audience about. Now, I am going to kind of skip through some of the reading since you'll want to read this on your own, but I do want to highlight and expand on certain sections. The section I mainly want to focus on within this video is topic selection. So you want to make some considerations before choosing a topic for this report. Now, I will go ahead and say, do not Google report topics. If you do that, you're going to get a lot of options, some of which are actually argumentative or wouldn't be a good fit. So the very first thing I would encourage you to do beyond what's on this list is to choose something that interests you. If you have something that is pertinent to your future occupation, that would be a good choice. Now, again, don't write about the occupation itself. That's noted on your assignment sheet. But if you wanted to go into teaching and wanted to write about the No Child Left Behind Act, that would be a great one. If you are going to go into a healthcare profession, and you want to write about a certain disease, disorder, piece of equipment, or procedure, that would be great. But before delving in, you want to ask yourself these questions. First of all, is this a topic you already know a lot about? So for this essay, I very highly discourage you from choosing something you already know a ton about, because it's really going to muddy the waters when we get into properly giving credit within the body of your essay. We're not getting into this quite yet, but I'll go ahead and say, within the essay, when you write it, you have to give credit, you have to give citations for any information that is not common knowledge. So if you write about something you know a lot about that is not common knowledge, you would have to go back and give credit to that within the body of your essay. So I would, again, discourage you from writing about something you know a lot about already, just so that you don't have to kind of sift through that and make those determinations. So write about something that interests you, but not that you already know everything about. Second of all, you want to think about the scope. Is the scope too large or too small? So you wouldn't want to write about something like Australia, as the textbook notes, but you could choose something more specific like farming in Australia. By the same token, I wouldn't want to write about something where the scope was too small. So for instance, if there was a particular piece of technology that they didn't talk much about in research, there aren't a lot of websites about, it wasn't distributed a lot, it's very niche, you can only find one or two websites that even talk about it, I'd probably avoid that topic altogether. The last one is it a debatable or argumentative topic? Again, the purpose of a report is to inform. So if your topic is debatable, or if it could become debatable or argumentative, that's something you want to avoid, because that would best suit an argumentative style of essay. As it notes, if the answer to any of the above questions is yes, I would recommend avoiding that topic. Now, you can always email me in advance if you want approval or if you have a question about whether something would be good. So beyond topic selection, the next thing that you want to do is start thinking about structure. You are not yet writing the essay at this point, but anytime you choose a topic, you want to begin with the end in mind. So with any essay, this would be the case. That being said, if I choose to write about, say, the common cold, I may think, okay, how is this going to look as an essay? I do not yet have to know statistics, facts, definitions, but what I could even just jot down on a scrap sheet or a napkin, what I could do is jot down my tentative structure. So I would know, first of all, I need an introduction. So for a tentative structure, I could write down introduction. I'll actually go ahead and just kind of show you all what this would look like. So I could write that down there, introduction. So that's going to be my paragraph 1. I may know, okay, I want to talk about the history of the cold. So that's my first body paragraph. And let me get like that. I know I want to talk about symptoms of the cold. And I know I want to talk about treatments. And of course, I end with a conclusion. So this is all I mean when I say begin with a structure in mind. The reason for that, again, is you are doing research on this essay. So if, as you begin to find sources for your essay, you find 4 sources, but they all talk about the history of the common cold and they're all repetitive, that's an issue. You would end up having to go back and find more sources. But if you know your structure early on, you kind of have a checklist in your brain because you're able to say, okay, I know I need 4 sources for this essay. So let me find at least one on the history, at least one on some symptoms, and at least one on some treatments. And then I can have another one that maybe discusses all of the above, expands on one that was a little bit shorter, but it makes sure that when I actually go to compose my essay, what I have found when I complete my research is pertinent. So at this point, you want to think about a topic and have your structure in mind. And after you do that, you can begin finding sources. So I'm going to have a separate video showing you how to do a works cited page, but I do in this video want to talk about source credibility. So the big saying whenever you are looking for sources, and sources can be things like websites, books, newspapers, ebooks, journal articles, YouTube videos. Those are types of sources. You are only as good as the sources you find. So again, the saying there is that you want to stand on the shoulders of giants. So if I'm writing about the common cold, I do not want to find a source that it looks like was just thrown together. I don't want to blog. I don't want to use a forum. I don't definitely want to use Wikipedia. Instead, I could find something from a credible organization, a credible journal, a credible medical journal that talks about the common cold. So again, you are only as good as the sources you use. So make sure you have and find good sources, and make sure as you are finding sources, they will be usable to you, that you have your structure in mind, that when you read that article, you're able to understand it, because you will notice as you use our library databases, there are some on particular databases that are very technical. So if you read the article and it's a little too in the weeds, if they've used a lot of lingo, if it's difficult to understand, maybe avoid that source and find a source that would be more usable to you. So again, you want to think about the major top aspects of your topic that you want to cover, and then begin finding sources. So some notes here. You want to find your sources and make sure that you always vary your source types. So you shouldn't have all websites, all books. You want a mixture. I don't have a specific mixture in mind for this essay, and I'm going to show you this in another video. But as soon as you find a source you want to use, make a works cited entry for it. Do not write your whole essay, then put it in text citations, then do a works cited. Instead, the process you want to follow, and this is at our essay checklist, the beginning of the textbook chapter, you want to choose your topic, determine a structure, complete your research and works cited page, and then write your essay. This ensures alignment in terms of your sources. I will go over this in the works cited video, but you are welcome to use EasyBib.com to create your works cited entries as well as our textbook. And always, as you find sources, save them or print them. Sources do disappear, so make sure not to lose track of them. And that was a very quick overview of the research process that I will delve a little bit more into in the Works Cited page video. Keep in mind, as you find Works Cited page or Works Cited sources or sources for the Works Cited page, you may need to add or change, and that is okay. So that being said, think about your topic and structure, and then watch the video on Works Cited entries and read the required pages, and you can begin finding your sources and creating that Works Cited page from there. If you have any questions, as always, please do not hesitate to let me know.